Okay, so today we are going to be testing out Amazon's finest plasma cutter. It's actually not the finest, it's probably the cheapest. I think this was $200, maybe $300, in the $200 to $300 range. And so we are going to see what it will do. We've got a piece of 16th inch sheet metal, 1/8 inch angle iron, 1/4 inch flat bar, and a piece of 1/2 inch flat bar. Now this unit will run off of 220 or 110. We're going to use 110 just for S and Gs and to see what it'll do kind of in its lowest power setting. So all you need is a regular 110 volt receptacle. They say, I think that's at 20 amps. Yeah, so at 20 amps, which is a fairly common circuit size on 110, this is rated to cut up to 5 mils. 5 mils is the metric equivalent of 1/2 inch. So it is rated to cut 1/2 inch steel on 110. So that's what we're going to do. I'll never need to cut anything thicker than 1/2 inch, I don't think. And that is at 50 PSI. I don't know what our regulator's set to. Probably need to check that before we start. Now the other thing to notice or to note is that at least as far as I know, you really don't want water from your compressor getting into your plasma cutter. I think it can foul your tips or the electrode or whatever these parts are that are inside here. I've never used a plasma cutter before, literally, and I've never used this one. So this first test cut is going to be the first time I've ever ran one. As extra insurance, because my compressor collects a lot of water, I picked up one of these Airline air water separators. This is also an Amazon unit, so I'll link to this. This was only like 15 bucks, and it has really good reviews. So you just plug this into the end of your hose, or you can put it upstream if you want. I'm going to put it as far downstream as possible, and it will quick connect directly to the machine. And that's all there is to it. So there's a lot of reviews on these on Amazon already, but they were basically real YouTubers that got these for free from Bestarc. So this will be an unbiased review, is what I'm trying to say. The reason we're using it is I've got some complex cuts to make. I started making cuts on this with an angle grinder, and getting nice curves in 1/4 inch material with an angle grinder is a real labor of love. And we have to finish boxing the frame on this S10 project, so I figured, well, we'll whip this out and we'll kind of put it to the test on the job. But before we make those cuts, we'll go ahead and get this all set up. We'll get the inline filter put in place. We'll hook it up to power. I think I've got it set up right. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then we'll get ready to go. So I'm gonna cut to getting this inline filter put in, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, so we are plugged in. I'm pleasantly surprised. I didn't do a ton of research on this, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but it's got a nice display. Shows the air pressure coming in, adjustable amperage range knob. I don't know what this button does. Oh, Jesus, what does that mean? Oh, that's just the unit factor. It lets you know when to cut. Okay. Oh, you can take out some air pressure. Cool. I'm not sure if we need that. The 4T versus 2T. Oh, is that a regulator right here too? We'll just leave that alone. 4T means you pull the trigger and it keeps cutting even after you let go, and you click it again and it stops. We're going to put it on 2T. That way it just works while I'm pulling the trigger. So pretty happy with that display. Henry forgot the ground clamp. All right, Henry, show him how to connect that. Is that it? Okay, if I get shocked, it's your ass. All right. So we are going to start with the 16th gauge. Move this crap out of the way. I fully expect this thing to cut no problem, but we're just starting here for the sake of science. I'm not 100% sure if you need like a welding hood. I'm going to put one on just in case, because I don't know any better. We'll go ahead and slap on some gloves, and I guess we're ready. All right. Spool out of the way. Boy, need little fingers to turn this thing. All right, here we go. Ah! Okay, she's touchy. I spelled your name. Henry. Okay, just goofing around. Let's see if we can make a clean cut. What's my pressure say?
46.
Good. Okay. Oh, it's hot. There we go. So, yeah, obviously it's going to cut through 16th inch material. That is an awfully jagged cut, but I think that was me more than anything. All right, let's jump to the 1/8 inch stuff. This angle iron, we did not prep this at all, so it's a little dirty. But most of the metal I cut is going to be a little dirty. Let's cut it like that, huh? Here we go. Get our stuff out of the way here. Let's start over here. All right, so that obviously cut 1/8 inch stuff, no problem. A little straighter, still not straight. Very reminiscent of a oxyacetylene style cut, jagged. You kind of have that slag on the bottom, which you could probably fine tune with your air pressure and your amperage setting. But okay, moving along. I think we all knew that would cut that. Now let's go to the 1/8 inch. Nope, this is 1/4 inch. Boy, I'm all over the place today. It'd be really smart to just clamp it in my fixture table, not just cut off the side of this card table, but here we go. I should probably be cutting over there where y'all can actually see what I'm doing. That would be smart. Got a little handle. Well, I made what I assume was a rookie mistake, and I got slag all over the little guide there, and then I couldn't get the nozzle flat on the metal. So that's probably more user error than anything. Let me see if I can just power through this cut, and then I'll do a little cleaner job on the next step. Air pressure good, Hen?
48.
Okay, so I think that was mostly user error. If you look, I couldn't get the tip all the way onto the metal because of the slag. When I started, I didn't have good contact with the surface, and so that melted metal pulled up on the top, and then it actually just exacerbated as we got further along. It just kept pulling on top, and I couldn't get the thing down. So I think that's on me. For the half-inch stuff, I think what I'm going to do is put a little C-channel guide down so I have a nice straight edge, and I'm going to see if I can get a clean cut with the half-inch. Let me set that up and we'll be back. Alright, this should be a little bit better angle and hopefully provide a slightly better cut. So you don't always need plasma cuts to be perfectly straight, and someone who's good probably doesn't need a guide, but I've quickly proven that I do need a guide. Oh, this is the amperage you're talking about, Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, Henry said, why don't you turn the amps up instead of struggle like an idiot? I don't know. Let's turn it to the max setting. Since this is the thickest, it should be able to cut on 110. All right. All right, let's try again. Okay. Tripped a breaker again. So it's cutting all the way through, and once it finally got through, it gave somewhere for that slag to go, because when it can't get through to the bottom, it just has to build up on the top, which is, I guess, a good reason why you start on the side and make sure you're all the way through before just trying to hog across, not getting full penetration. So I would also chalk this one up to user error. So let me start on the side. And see if we can't rectify this calamity we got going on here. Why? It's got a tiny bit left. Oh, she's almost there. Why are you fighting me? Oh, sweet mother of Jesus, finally. All right, so after struggling to get through this 1/2-inch plate, we finally, where's my lens? We finally did it. We kept tripping the breaker, focus. But I think part of that was because we had the compressor on the same circuit as the machine, which was probably dumb. But it definitely did it. I also started off wrong by just trying to not let this edge penetrate before making my way across. Somebody who actually knows what they're doing probably would have done better than that. But then again, if you're buying a machine this cheap, you probably don't know what you're doing. So it can definitely cut through 1/2-inch material on 110 if you're patient. Now, if you're trying to cut through feet of 1/2-inch material, this is probably not the setup you want to run. But in my case, I never use 1/2-inch for anything, and if I do, it's in small sections. So where I could see this being helpful is if you need to cut like a circle for a bolts hole, and you don't have a drill or a drill press that's capable of cutting through there. This might be good for that, because you would just need, I don't know, a few inches of cutting, and it would definitely do that. All right, let's see if we can finish this cut for the truck, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, so here we go. This is the real test. Can it do the job you bought it for? Not can it just cut random scraps you got lying around. So I've already scored this with the angle grinder, so it's, I don't know, it's probably 1/4 of the way cut through, which is kind of irrelevant. I just want to be able to make a curved cut for my truck. Metal's a little rusty. It'll be that way sometimes. All right. I don't imagine we'll trip any breakers this go around. Wow. That last pass was super clean. All right. Are we in 2 pieces? Yes. Okay, so you can see where I started off extremely jagged and rough, and by the time I got to the end here, I kind of had it figured out. A lot less slag on the bottom too, so the majority of this has been user error, but that's okay. All right, we'll wrap up here. All right, so that's the end of the test. We saw that it obviously cuts through sheet metal. It cuts through 1/8 inch, cuts through 1/4 inch fine, and it will even cut through, that's still super hot, 1/2 inch material. And then at the end of the day, all that really matters is it will cut what you bought it for. In this case, a piece of 1/4 inch to box in the frame over a spring perch. And it did that. So whether or not this is a good tool really comes down to 2 things. Are you a professional, and do you expect professional results? Because if you're not a professional, you're probably not going to get great results, and you should probably buy something else. But if you're okay with having to do a little grinding and maybe spending some time on the thick stuff, I think it's worth it. So for a couple $100, I'm pretty happy. So now I gotta make a few more of these, but there's a lot of projects around here where I think this will come in handy. I probably spend $250 a year just on cutting discs and flap discs and Sawzall blades. So we'll see how this works. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching.